it's Jenny, the garden designer. This past weekend, I was working a wedding, was the florist for the wedding, really exciting. I started off as a gardener. That's my first love, but I have been dabbling more into the cut flower space. This was my first larger event as a florist. Prior to this, the largest event I had done was a rehearsal dinner as far as cut flowers go. So it was really exciting. The bride wanted a springtime, like wildflower, woodland theme, which anyone that knows me knows that is totally up my alley. So wanted to show you guys, kind of what I did as far as the bouquets go and the centerpieces. As far as the bouquets go, this was my first time. So I'm sure that there are things that I could have done different. It did end up going well, and the bride loved them, so I wanted to show you guys, what I did, for any of you DIYers out there. And so yeah, let's just go ahead and get right into it. Okay, so we're gonna start with the bouquets. For the bouquets, you're going to need a trash bag, scissors, rubber bands, floral tape, or electrical tape. So this is actually electrical tape. It does the same thing as the green floral tape that you might be familiar with. So if you have some of this laying around, you can use this instead. Otherwise, you can get some floral tape. You're also going to need twine or jute and a hot glue gun. Now, optional, you can also use flower food and Crowning Glory. So this isn't the bottle the Crowning Glory came in. I just put it in here for easy application. The reason why I say that these are optional is this might be a sin in the florist world to say this, but I don't always notice a big difference when I add flower food to the water. So I did not add flower food to the water for the bouquets or the centerpieces for the wedding. So I'll leave that up to you. As far as the Crowning Glory, I've had, different experiences using this. I would say mixed reviews. Crowning Glory, for those that don't know, was supposed to be like a sealant. You spray it on the flowers and it kind of like locks in the moisture. It, just helps to extend their vase life. Sometimes I feel like it works. Sometimes I feel like it actually expedites the death of the flower or the wilting. So I think it depends on the flower. I think when I used it with roses, it did not help. It made it worse. But then with like hydrangeas, it really did help. So I think it depends. I just stayed away from it for the wedding. So Crowning Glory, flower food, you decide if you want to use it. In my experience so far, what's more important than even flower food, Crowning Glory, all that stuff is trimming the stems. Try to trim them a little bit every day and dump out the water, provide them fresh, clean water every day. Those two things make the biggest difference as far as the shelf life of your flowers. So I started arranging these on Thursday. The wedding wasn't until Saturday. So, I cut them as soon as I got them home, put them in some fresh water. Friday, I snipped them just a little bit more, and then on Saturday as well, and then changed out the water each day too. That, in my opinion, is the best way to ensure a long vase life for your flowers. And then for the centerpieces, I used mason jars. These are the 12-ounce mason jars, or are they 16? But mason jars filled with water. Okay, so for the bouquets, we're gonna start off with 3 pieces of Italian ruscus. And just FYI with all of these flowers, they're about a week old at this point, so they are not looking their best. These were just leftovers from the wedding, so just, FYI, don't judge based on the way the flowers look. So I'm going to cut these to the same length as this guy. This one's already been cut a little bit. I want them to be about 12 inches tall. I am creating the Bridesmaids bouquet. The bridal bouquet looks very similar, just a little bit bigger, has a couple more flowers in it. I'll explain that too. So to give you an idea of the size that I want it to be when the girls are holding it, so I want it to be about here. That's something to really, keep in mind, is, just the height of the bouquet as you're going along. You just want to make sure it's not going to be up in their face or, anything like that. Okay, so the one that's already been cut, I kind of use that as like a guide to make sure that I'm cutting the rest of them the right height. Okay, perfect. Now these two are the same height. Okay, great. So now all three stems are the same height. This is gonna be like the back, the base of the bouquet. So essentially when she's holding the bouquet, these three pieces are going to be the back of it, okay? So everything else that we add to this bouquet is gonna be in front of the ruscus. So we have our Italian ruscus. On top of the ruscus, I'm going to add some silver dollar eucalyptus. So really pretty bluish silver color. I'm just going to add one stem of this. Just like that. Next, I'm going to add 2 pieces of baby blue eucalyptus. Now this baby blue eucalyptus looks really, really rough. Will look a lot prettier than this, I promise, when you get yours. So we're gonna add 2 pieces of this, and just same deal, wanna make sure it's the same height as everything else. And we're gonna lay 1 piece down on the right side of the bouquet. And another piece down on the left side of the bouquet. The 3 stems of Italian ruscus along the back. Then after placing that down, we put 1 piece of the silver dollar eucalyptus in the center, and then 2 pieces of the baby blue eucalyptus, one on the left side, one on the right. So now we're going to add our delphinium, which is a really pretty tall blue flower. Comes in different colors of blue. This one is on its way out, but I promise, just Google them. They are quite striking. So this is gonna be the tallest flower in the bouquet. So I want it to be as tall as the greenery, maybe even a little bit taller. I kind of want it to stick out a little bit, just like that. So I'm gonna lay this down, and we're going to grab 2 yellow mums. I love this golden yellow. I think they're so pretty. I did remove the leaves from them as well, just FYI. And then these 2 guys are gonna go like right about here. I kind of like when they're a little bit closer together. So I'm gonna cut the stems because they are sticking out quite a lot. So here's the bouquet, and as you can tell, these are the mum stems and they are way too long. So we're gonna cut those. I might even bring them down a little bit. It is very rainy here today. I am in South Florida. I love a good dark stormy day. It's not the best as far as lighting for videos, so I apologize, but I do really like it. All right, perfect. Perfect enough. We're gonna, mess around with them some more later. Next, we're going to add some purple daisy palms. So daisy palms come in a bunch. You don't get like one single stem. So let me show you what I mean. So this is like 1 stem. And they have multiples on there. So I'm gonna do 2 stems, or 2 bunches, and these are gonna go right under the yellow mums. just like that. So I need to cut these as well and remove the leaves. And so these are going to be cut a little bit shorter than the mums. Okay, so next we're going to add 1 to 2 stems of mini white carnations. So with these mini white carnations, you'll see that there are multiple flowers attached to one stem. I really like the mini carnations. Dude, carnations are making a comeback. And these are, you know, just the white ones, which I still adore, but they come in so many fun, beautiful colors these days. When I was at the Philly Flower Show, there were a lot of carnations incorporated into the exhibits, and yeah, they're making a comeback. They are underrated and they are inexpensive, and they're a very hardy plant too. They last forever. I mean, look at these guys. They have been neglected for a week, and they're still thriving. You can't hurt them. They're so hardy. So I love them. I love them for multiple reasons. So these are going to go, 1 to 2 bunches are going to go in the center, like the bottom center of the arrangement. So I'm just cutting them to the length that I want them. They're going to be the shortest flower in the bouquet. Okay, so now we've got those guys in there. And we're gonna top everything off with 2 more pieces of the baby blue eucalyptus, which are gonna go on either side of the arrangement. So 2 additional pieces of the baby blue. You might want them to be a little bit longer than this, but for the sake of the video, this will work. So they're gonna be placed kind of with the daisies. All right, so this is where we're at so far, and I just placed a piece of that baby blue eucalyptus right here, and then another piece over here by these daisies, and then the carnations in the middle. And then the last thing we're going to do is add 2 more little pieces of silver dollar eucalyptus on top of the carnation stem, so you know, sort of covering up the stems of the carnations. So now that all of the flowers are in the bouquet, we're going to take a rubber band and as gracefully and gently as possible, kind of bunch them all together and put the rubber band around them. Don't be nervous here. The rubber band is just to kind of help, you know, get them all together, right? But then what I did after putting the rubber band on them is I would get in front of a mirror and then just, you know, kind of hold the bouquet, right, like I'm in the wedding, and then start to arrange the flowers how I want them. This is just kind of like a little tutorial video. I would probably trim this greenery a little bit. But yeah, you can arrange them a little bit, get them the way you want them. And then you can even, you know, with the rubber band, it's easy. You can, you know, remove a flower, put a different flower in, whatever you need to do. And then once you have them the way you want them, that's when you grab your floral tape or your electrical tape if you're me. And we will wrap that around. Now I wrapped this around quite a bit. I want to say 3 inches. You might want some measuring tape for this. But yeah, I would say 3 to 4 inches is how much electrical tape I put on these guys. Okay, so now we have our electrical tape at the bottom. Trim your stems, you know, make sure they're all even. Let's see, she can, you know, make sure the bridesmaid or bride can comfortably hold the bouquet. And then after you do that, so I just kind of left them like this in some water until Saturday. And then on Saturday morning, the day of the wedding, is when I wrapped them in twine and hot glued them. So I got all the flowers on a Thursday, arranged them all Thursday and Friday, and then finished up Saturday morning before heading out to the venue. So just to kind of give you an idea. And there were 11 bridesmaids bouquets, obviously one bridal bouquet, so 12 bouquets in total, and then 12 centerpieces. And then when it comes to wrapping the bouquets with twine, you'll be using a hot glue gun to adhere the twine to the electrical tape or floral tape. But then, what I did is I started down here and I hot glued this piece to the bottom, and then I just worked my way up, making sure all of the black tape is covered up. And then the day of the wedding, I brought backup materials, twine, hot glue, etc., flowers, in case anything needed to be touched up before the ceremony. So once again, I'm kind of just rushing through this, but you get the gist of what I'm trying to do here. So this is what the base of it looked like. Hold it there. This is for the bridesmaid bouquet. So we had one blue delphinium, we have 2 of the yellow mums, 2 bunches of the purple daisies, and then 1 to 2 stems of the mini white carnations. For the bride's bouquet, same, kind of setup. I just enhanced the bouquet with 2 more pieces of the delphinium. So there were 3 delphiniums in that back row. And then there was 1 more yellow mum. So 3 mums, 3 delphiniums. And then I want to say I did more of the purple daisies as well, and the white carnations. Greenery was about the same. I think I made it a little bit taller, a little bit wilder. So to kind of give you an idea, it was something more like this for the bride. And I think I had that yellow mum, a little bit higher up, the middle one. So it was something like this. Okay, and then for the centerpieces, those were a little bit more straightforward and simple, but we had, I did 1 delphinium per jar, and this was the tallest flower in the jar. I did 1 bunch of purple daisies, 2 stems of the mini white carnations, 1 yellow mum, 3 pieces of baby blue eucalyptus, and 1 piece of the silver dollar eucalyptus. So I think I have the delphinium the height I want it to be. I already cut the yellow mum, so I'm gonna put those in there, and then we'll clean the purple daisies. Those are gonna be a little bit shorter. And then we will add the white carnations. And then we're going to put in the pieces of eucalyptus. And then just FYI for the centerpieces, we also incorporated wood rounds, lanterns, not this exact lantern, a white one, added some lights inside the lanterns. And then also a couple books on each table. So the groom's mother, so the bride's future mother-in-law, had a bunch of like old, like classic books. They were really cool. They were very like vintage looking. So anyway, we incorporated a couple of those books as part of the centerpieces as well. It kind of enhanced that woodland, almost like old, like fairy tale-esque feeling, which I think goes very well with the wildflowers and woodland theme. Now, as far as the bouquets go, I had them all in larger bins like this, just like an inch or so of water, just enough for, you know, the stems to get a drink for them. And so I just lined up all the bouquets just like this one along the entire perimeter of the container, and then that ended up filling it out and kind of kept them in place. So for 12 bouquets, it took me 2 containers. And here are the dimensions of this container for anyone that's curious. It's 28 inches long, 17.3 inches wide. And then for the mason jar centerpieces, I had a separate container, but similar size. And I just put all the mason jars down in there, and between each one, I was wrapping towels around them. So, just to kind of keep everything secure. You can use smaller towels if you prefer, but essentially towels were wrapped around all the mason jars to prevent them from breaking and just to kind of keep them in place. I also, once I got all the containers, so there were 4 bins, 2 for all the centerpieces, 2 for all the bouquets. Once I got everything in the SUV, I also used bungee cords to kind of strap everything down because I had like a 3.5 hour drive to the venue. Okay, and this is an absolute mess, but just FYI, trash cans, buckets, they make great storage containers for your flowers when you're picking them up, and before you've started to like really arrange them. So I have some shorter buckets here, and then for some of the taller flowers and greenery, I have this taller trash can, which is like a full-blown kitchen trash can. I know it's really messy, but just kind of wanted to give you an idea of what I store the flowers in when I pick them up. It's trash cans and buckets. Like I have an orange Home Depot bucket. I think it's a 5-gallon. So yeah. All right, you guys, that's all we have for you today. I appreciate you watching, and until next time, here's your reminder to create the world you want to live in.